integrity, humility, and determination. Your role is both a challenge and a privilege, and we have full confidence in your ability to arise to the occasion. To the outgoing SRC, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. Your dedication and service have left a mark. You have paved the way for others to follow. And as you know, I am one of those that encourages legacies. When you exit the SRC office, there must be a legacy which will point to your time as SRC. As we approach the end of 2025 Leadership Week, we would also like the incoming SRC not to forget that effective and collaborative leadership is what it's all about. Effective leadership is made possible by collaboration and not competition. Normally, competition does not motivate people to do the best they can. Rather, it motivates them to do better than others. This is an antithesis of what Ubuntu social ethic teaches and encourages. As Nelson Mandela once said, I quote, "The best leaders are those who serve others, not themselves." Once again, welcome to this special occasion at Rhodes University, which remains a place where leaders learn. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Without wasting any time, I was going to report. There was a mistake that I must apologize for to MC. I myself did not extend fully and hearty welcome to our honored speaker, Dr. Musi Maimane. So please feel welcome, Dr. Maimane. Oh, Dr. Maimane, no, I'm so sorry. You're welcome. You're welcome. I might find myself not invited to dinner. And it get awkward if we're having to have a share a toast as we reflect on this evening. So please feel warm and at home. Madam President, the incumbent president of the SRC, Ms. Lenati Ndubela Uzo Pagama, please welcome your president as you would.
Everyone. Good evening to everyone in the house tonight, all protocols observed. I must say this moment is quite a bittersweet one for me. When I ran for SRC, Dandi City, Linati for SG, Utini Wena. And I never imagined ever changing positions or portfolios rather. I never imagined I'll be the vice president and now, standing here as the president of the SRC, this journey taught me that leadership is not about titles, like Dr. Tondi said. However, to me, it is about responding to what the moment requires of you, even when it stretches you beyond what you imagined for yourself. As you all know, you do not walk a journey all by yourself. I will forever be grateful to my council for welcoming me with grace and trusting me to lead them. To my vice president, thank you for being a pillar of my leadership in council and ensuring that we keep the council going despite all the storms we were facing. To the student body, thank you for allowing us to lead you. We have had many uphill battles, but we stood firm in overcoming most of them. Looking back to the zealous year, It is hard not to be honest about what it really was. We came in with big dreams and bold intentions, and yet there were moments where we fell short. I'm sure Mr. Ofei won't forget this council anytime soon. Not because we're flawless, but because there were decisions that, looking back, we could have made better decisions. In the same breath, we have faced moments that forced us to grow quickly, such as joining the water march with our Makhanda community as we stood together for our basic right. We stood in the heat of student protest as our fellow leaders raised their voices over struggles faced. Those moments reminded us that student leadership isn't confined to offices and meetings. It happens on the ground in solidarity with the people we represent. Even with the missteps, there was meaning in the work we did. We saw students come out in numbers to converse about what ethical, inclusive, and impactful leadership could look like during our Leadership Week. There, we imagined new possibilities for our university. And through it all, we discovered that leadership is less about being perfect and more about being present. During Leadership Week, I mentioned that as the youth, being the future is not enough, but we are also the present. It is so heartwarming to see such a large number of candidates running to represent other students. Now, alumni, I need to talk to you guys. We couldn't have done this alone. Thank you for building the foundation we stood on and for showing us that we are part of something much bigger than ourselves. To my mentors, thank you to my mentors. Ms. Sue Smales, your leadership and mentorship is exceptional. I could not have asked for any better mentor. I will always cherish our mentorship sessions and most importantly, our stoop moments. To my other mentor, Ngobile in absentia, you are hundreds of kilometers away, but not a single day do I feel the distance. Now I must say, on paper, I have two mentors, but in reality, I have a circle of people that guide me and have been holding my hand every step of the way. Thank you, everyone. To Abusheni Jala, the role you continue to play. real this time. To Avusheni Jala, the role you continue to play in my leadership journey is enormous. Thank you for always pushing me out of my comfort zone so that I can become the best version of myself. To the Office of the DSSD, your guidance and collaboration helped us turn challenges into opportunities. Thank you for being with us every step of the way, even when, to the candidates tonight, always be proud of the fact that you put your hand up to lead. Do not let tonight be your defining moment should you not make it. Rhodes is where leaders learn, and there are plenty of opportunities to exercise leadership in our institution. To the 2026 SRC, you inherit both the progress we made and the unfinished work we leave behind. Lead boldly, but lead with humility. Don't be afraid of mistakes, but learn from them faster than we did. And remember, your task is not to be perfect. Your task is to ensure that students feel seen, heard, and represented. To the 2026 president, Kuya Kutiwa, enjoy the applause you are receiving now, because during your tenure, there will be none. And on behalf of my council to the student body, thank you for allowing us to serve you. As we have little less than 4 months to go, let us write the next chapter together and end the year on a high note. Thank you.
Sebong, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lynette. Well done, sis. Getting the institution in a safe and stable way to its end, and where processes can still be observed, like elections, and those elections through the legal processes, as we mimic what happens at the national level, are verified by legislative bodies that say, and you are the helm of that, means that you have kept it stable. An institution and so student governance that is stable in this country, I think we have an MP amongst us. They'll tell us what happens when SRCs become unstable. But well done, sis. So thank you very much for your address. Ngicela uSivu. Sivu is going to perform for us. Asithi nje. Sondela sisivu.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to tell you a story, but it goes something like this. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to tell you about one of the many men. Name is irrelevant. Name is irrelevant. He was a 1 out of 10. I wish that I knew what it meant. Loves to recovery. I'm vulnerable. I love a sentiment. Quickly I opened up. I love my listening. Thought I was safe again. Thought he was innocent. I was wrong. I can't deny I was stuck in a maze. Terrible ways. He was given to know. Very predictable. The game to play. So I'll take this front row seat. I
Give it up for Sivu! Very beautiful. Siyabonga kakhulu. Beautiful. That was a beautiful, beautiful performance. Uthando Lwetume, Mr. Thando Lwetume is going to be introducing our distinguished speaker.
Thank you. Enkosi. Dandiyiyo. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those who do not identify. As said, I am Thando Lwetume, and I am here to introduce the Honorable Dr. Mmusi Maimane. All protocol observed. All protocol observed. Born in 1980 and raised in the vibrant Soweto community here in South Africa, Mmusi Maimane's journey is a testament to resilience, purpose, and unwavering dedication to service. A proud alumnus of Allen Glen High School, where he matriculated in 1997, Mmusi has committed his life to transforming South Africa through education, faith, and leadership. Holding 2 master's degrees, one in public administration and another in theology, and now a doctorate in public management and governance. He exemplifies a lifelong pursuit of knowledge and impact. As a former leader of South Africa's official opposition, Mmusi became a formidable voice against corruption, advocating tirelessly for justice and the empowerment of the poor. His leadership was marked by a deep commitment to restoring integrity in government and inspiring a new generation of civic-minded citizens. Since stepping back from formal party politics, he has continued to lead with purpose, founding the One South Africa movement, a powerful civic initiative dedicated to community empowerment, promoting independent candidates and fostering accountable governance. Building on this momentum, he established Build One South Africa, the BOSA, a dynamic platform aimed at uniting South Africans around shared values of justice, unity, and economic opportunity. Currently serving as a Member of Parliament and Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Appropriations, Mmusi plays a pivotal role in ensuring that every rand of public money is used transparently and effectively to foster development and social upliftment. Beyond politics, he is an ordained pastor who has led the Liberty Church Discovery Campus for many years. This means that he has been preaching on national and international stages to inspire hope and positive change. Married to Nantali since 2005. Mmusi is a devoted father to 3 children, Kgalaleto, Kutlwano, and Daniel, whose lives fuel his passion for building a future where every South African can thrive. His journey exemplifies the power of faith, education, and unwavering integrity in shaping a better, more equitable South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, and those who do not conform, please help me in welcoming the Honorable Dr. Mmusi Maimane on the stage.
Thank you so much. That is kind of you. Thank you. Ndiyabulela Nkosi for those kind introductions. I was listening carefully and ndacinga uba, what would my mother say, who is from the Eastern Cape? A woman who left to go find opportunity in Johannesburg. She ended up as a cashier, bezawujuba unyana wakhe is a doctor. Even I'm concerned. She would not believe if she listened to that introduction. Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sizwe Mabizela, Deputy Vice Chancellor, senior lecturers and lecturers who are here, professors, the student community that is here, former presidents and members of the SRC, incoming members of the SRC, students of this esteemed university, fellow South Africans, Bagaetsu, Dumelang. Hey. I listened with great interest when Unati was speaking. And I must say, she reminded me of the final words of President Obama's address when he said, the thing we must guard against the most is cynicism. Because in many ways, when we become cynical, we stop believing we can change the world. And so in her emotions, it reminded me that those who are cynical no longer care about the office they hold. But in her expression, it reminded me of the fact that this is truly deeply caring, inspiring, and a lesson for all those who hold public office, that we are not there for the title, but for the service of the people. Siyabulele. Thank you. The question that I was asked to come and speak a bit about tonight was reimagining commitment to leadership. We are asked in these very complicated times to reimagine, to rethink. As Alvin Toffler said, to learn, unlearn, and relearn. It is indeed a great privilege to be here, not only at this university, which I've held in high regard, but in celebration of democracy, the very thing I think is a crucial component of where South Africa and Africa goes. To witness the transition, to listen to, as the Deputy Vice Chancellor was saying to me earlier, that the witness of the transference of power, and how this is a celebrated, and as the program director so eloquently put it, a marking of a historic time. But we don't gather in easy times. We don't reimagine simply without the challenges that we face. We face indeed a world in profound transition. If you lived in the 1990s, you will remind yourself that this was perhaps the collapse of the Berlin Wall and usherance of a new era of globalization. I would argue that this period that we are seeing on geopolitics, on local politics, is yet another moment, another marker that we enter a new transition. A transition that will ask each one of us some important questions. And I put that before you because those who aspire for leadership need to be able to arise to answer the questions that are before us. We transition in a world that perhaps others would say used to be a bipolar world into a multipolar world. We challenge not only in looking east or west, but looking forward. We challenge a continent whose GDP collectively is smaller than some of the other states in the US. These are questions you and I, who have been entrusted with a job of leadership, have to confront. We gather here today in a nation that is only growing at a GDP of less than 1%, a global world that is growing at an average of 3%. We are transitioning into a world where others talk about a carbon-intensive world, into how we talk about a green, sustainable climate. These ask us difficult questions. It's easy at one level to be sloganeering about net zero and all of those issues, but it also asks you the question about saying, how do we ensure that as the world transitions, how do we bring everybody with us and ensure that no one is left behind? We face, as many others have said, whilst basic living standards have relatively improved all over the world, as Hans Rosling would argue in his book, we yet today face profound inequality. We live in a world where few own as much as half of the world. You and I have to respond to these questions. As the apex of globalization has occurred, we're now watching profound challenges around immigrations as people are moving all over the world. This is not in some ways a new problem, but it has become a political problem to which others have used not really to find solutions for the world, but really to consolidate their base at home for political purposes. So the time asks us not only to be good at what we do, but to be great at what we do. To the incoming SRC, to the leaders that are here, you have a tough duty on your hands. Because whilst many of the challenges I've put may not be domesticated to what happens at this university, it would be amiss of me not to recognize that if this institution truly stands for what it is, which is a center upon which leaders are developed, I would hope that those who are elected today do not cease being leaders as soon as they exit these doors, but they take the lessons they've learned here to be able to impact not only their communities, their cities, the country, the continent at large, and ultimately the globe. So this is not just a period of leading because you've been elected to do so, but it's a recognition of your journey of leadership, and I hope it translates into impacting our society. So if I leave you with a few thoughts in this esteemed house that has produced the lights of Chris Hani and Mcebisi Jonas, let me say your first starting point is to appreciate that in these turbulent times, the thing that keeps leadership working and functioning is the idea of having a vision greater than the circumstances it confronts. I say this because I'll never forget, as a child in Soweto, I was selected to go play tennis. I'd never been on a plane in my life. And so we had to then go play a tournament in KZN. And I got onto this small little plane. I think it was before Airlink, there was something smaller. You know when you sit on a plane at a bit of an angle like this? So I'm sitting on this thing. And we're flying to KZN. You must appreciate this is my first flight. So as turbulence comes, my faith became tested. I didn't become an ordained pastor because I felt a calling. I thought on that day I was going to physically meet Jesus. So in the midst of that, I get quite ill and I land on the other side. And I was raised Catholic, so when you land on the ground, I've watched the Pope kiss the ground. I kiss the ground for different reasons. And then we played the tournament, we finished the week, and now it's time for us to get back. And there's no other alternative. You have to get back on the plane and fly back to Johannesburg. I begged the coach, I said, can I walk or drive or do something? But I'm not getting back in there. He said, maybe this experience will be different. As we got into this Boeing thing, massive thing. turbulence came, in fact, the thunderstorms flying back were worse than the ones going forward. But I did not feel it because the size of the plane was different from the one we took coming down. I say that because vision in its size determines how well or how badly you go through turbulence. The smaller your vision, the difficulty turbulence becomes. The greater your vision, it is why I would argue people like Nelson Mandela could be able to see through multiple decades what freedom could feel like and taste like, despite the difficulties of the day. You have a duty, those who are incoming, to not only articulate the roads that impacts a few, but how this university impacts the continent at large. Fellow South Africans, the second great challenge is to appreciate the journey of values. I am amazed that we are living today in a world where leaders are fast lacking values. We have started to dehumanize people. We are living in societies where others, almost leadership is defined by tribalism. Today, it has become almost popular to other people. As I said earlier, to consolidate not only your own base, but to operate in cheap politics. May I urge you, in tensions that are taking place all over the world, whether the conflict is between Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, everywhere else in the world, the impulse is to other. May we remind ourselves that as Africans we uphold this simple value, that at first, sinobuntu. We have the value that says, I see that you are a human being, and therefore we share common threats. Whether black, whether white, Indian or colored, whether male or female, regardless of the differences between us, let us remind ourselves, perhaps maybe, as those who fought so hard against apartheid, that we are all made in the image of God. And therefore, no, I have to preach. So to hate one race or one gender is at its core to violate Ubuntu and ultimately to oppose God. This is going to be crucial. Because if we don't achieve just that basic understanding of a shared humanity, we will see an increasing rise not only of racism, sexism, but of issues such as xenophobia and the challenges we face of tribalism in our continent. I want to urge for you to rail against what others see as a populist impulse. I won't comment here on immigration. Suffice to say that historically, as human beings have moved all over the world, I have found it to be helpful that ideas are being shared and being spread in the world. Furthermore, those who seek to other are furthermore starting to undermine democracy. They are starting to forget the fact that it is always the will of the people. That's why this practice that you've put here and this marking of this time is so vital as a model for what we need to rail against in the world. We have to face some difficult questions. We have economies that are struggling. And when resources are scarce, the temptation to other becomes even more so. But let's dare never forget our humanity. I was raised in a home where even the saying was, Bana ba motho, baka bile ba tsa tlhogo ya tsiye. I know I'm in the Eastern Cape, so Tswana might not translate. So I'll do my best to say, even the head of a small insect must be shared amongst the children. That may be, when others don't want to see inclusion, let us remind them that it is inhumane that when others can eat and others can't, something about that violates the value of humanity. It is precisely why we must forever be deliberate at fighting against those who are corrupt. Because when people are corrupt, they minimize the resources that were set up for the prosperity of all, and they tend to make the mistake that it is for their personal prosperity. So I want to, rather than in true academic style, telling you what to do, I want to challenge you to answer for yourselves some of the questions that I believe the world will face. These are them. We're fast moving into a world that is transitioning into a digital universe. What that means is that domestic problems become international problems. It means that the challenges that are taking place in South Africa can be discussed in the White House. But it also means that capital is moving all over the world. You and I may not bank necessarily in South Africa, will bank elsewhere, which means even the idea of domestic taxation is going to be a challenge of the future. You have to respond to that. You have to respond to how Africa manages debt in the world. We have to respond quite intentionally about how we deal with defense in a world that is violent. We have to be more and more adamant in dealing with some of the more domestic problems of healthcare and education, and appointing leaders who are ethical in the future that have to lead through these turbulent times. I wish I could tell you a script, a Bible, but I truly believe to each generation, freedom is never quite won. It must be fought for in every generation. In conclusion, Ari Russell Hochschild writes a book, Stolen Pride, The Rise of the Right in the United States. The two polar opposites are a question of shame and pride. At some level, today is a moment of pride. We celebrate academic excellence. We celebrate new leaders. Pride is a necessary component in a society. It gives aspiration, it gives ambition. It tells people of the art of the possible. Shame, on the other hand, is what often when people do not get an education and feel colorblind in a world of color. It's those who, as systems of the world, have meant that they cannot find work opportunities. It's those who feel less than, who get told that you are subhuman. When that shame comes upon a society, that society doesn't accept it simply for itself. It rises up and it says, let us find the populist who's also been shamed, and let us vote for them because they will fight for us. If you want a leadership that will transition in these turbulent times, I would pray that to your communities, to your cities, there'd be more unatis who will go around and say, I would rather bring back pride to our community. So that whatever you define black excellence as, it be something that makes us all stand up and say, indeed, we can be proud. So I guess my passing words to the next SRC, I will say this to you. Make sure you always uphold the pride of this institution. Make sure you never, ever give up. For when you quit and you become cynical, society is broken. When I stood for public office, boy, I have lost many elections. And yet in the midst of that, as I sit and I chair the budget, who knew that in fact the South African budget would end up in the hands of the child from Soweto, who now has to work out how to get the systems to work. And ultimately, more than anything, remain disciplined. You can do many things in life. People will fail, people will give up. You never quit. But you build on a discipline to say, let us achieve what is greater than us. So fellow South Africans, to the new leaders, reimagine a new world, answer difficult questions, enter crazy conversations, be honest about your failures, be truthful about your successes, and ultimately, I genuinely believe the hope of our nation, the hope of this country, does not lie in the hands of one sector, whether it be politicians or whatever. It lies in the South Africans who today, as a matter of education, can stand up and be proud. Ke a leboga. May God richly bless you.
Sincere and most gracious thank yous to you, Dr. Maiman. Not only as a university do we love PhDs, Dr. Mzilikazi will tell you about just how much he loves PhDs. So not only are we very excited about your own, but thank you for these words. I'd like to let's take 20 seconds just to think about what we heard. And the challenges we heard, and the historiography and the values that we were reminded of. It's important to leave with a thought. Leave with something that you must remember. Sincere thank you, Dr. Maiman. The time has come for what we have gathered here to do. Get ready. Candidates, congratulations and well done for having run. We are getting into the events of the evening. I'd just like to walk you through how the order of proceedings. I know we are excited. I know. I get it. But I'm going to ask that Silalila just so that we get through it. I'm going to invite the IEB chair, the chairperson of the Independent Electoral Board, as well as the chairperson of the Student Disciplinary Board. Those, in any election, you have an IEB that oversees the election to ensure that it is run in a free and fair way. The chairperson of the SDB would represent what is our judiciary. So those who are the legal minds who say it was indeed free and fair. It has had judicial oversight. So that will be the two people that I would like to now invite who are going to share with us their election results. Now, we have all been supporting various people. And so even as we announce the names, I'd like us to ensure that the names get announced so we can hear them, and applause is moderated. The night is long, we're still going to celebrate. And comfort one another. Pending, you know. But this might not be the election, there might be the next election. You gotta just keep doing it. Because the offer was always about service. So without wasting too much time, I would like to invite the IEB chairperson, please, to please join us, Mr. Mvuyisi Sikila, who will be followed by Miss Yolanda Marambana, who is the chairperson of our IEB.
Amandla! Amandla! Comrades!
Man, we are nine. We are nine. Yeah. Yes. I want to say Amandla kahle kahle. Amandla.
Colleagues, somewhere in the Bible, there is a story there about Jesus being on a donkey. And he was riding into one of the cities, and the people were cheering. The donkey thought they were cheering for him. So, when they were cheering for Jesus, So I understand that you are not singing for me. I refuse to be that donkey and understand that you are singing for the incoming SRC. To our Vice Chancellor, our DVC, and our second DVC in absentia, our registrar, the deans of faculties, the director of student services and development, and other directors present here, to honorable members of staff, to Dr. Musa Maimane, Ndangam, so to 1980. To the invited SRC members from other institutions, to the current president of the SRC, and to the outgoing council. And most importantly, colleagues, not for everyone else, but for me, I would like to greet Mrs. Weeks. Thank you, colleagues. I stand here today on behalf of the IEB, the Independent Electoral Board. We would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank all the members of the IEB for their professionalism and dedication. On the day of elections, they began counting at 6:30, and the counting was finished just before 8 in the morning. That is approximately 13 hours of counting. I would like to say it is always humbling to see most of them are students, if not all of them. To see students being so dedicated to ensuring that what they start, they make sure it is quality when it is done. They don't just get it done. There were moments that some ballots were counted twice just to make sure that we were accurate. Thank you for that. We deeply appreciate that commitment. Our gratitude also goes out to the polling officers who made this election possible. Thank you for your dedication and making these elections what they have been. We also thank the Director of the Division of Student Services and Development, Dr. Tondi, and the manager of Residence Life, Development and Support, Ms. Zigazno Holoza, for their unwavering support throughout the process. Some of the things would not have been possible without your support. I have, however, been asked, as I did say, I'm not speaking on my behalf, I'm speaking of the whole board, to say that we are still waiting for the T-shirts. We also want to extend a very special thanks to the IEC. They added an extra layer of professionalism and credibility to our work and making sure that we delivered the elections that are very credible. Their thoroughness inspired us to be just as meticulous and make sure that we grow as we go along. This year's SRC election saw a record of 73 candidates contesting for 16 available positions. That, for me, is a description of true democracy. When students put up their hands and say that I can lead. When I spoke, when I opened the Grezel, I said only the 16 are going to get into the SRC. But the rest do not stop being leaders. So, as you can read here in front of me, Rhodes is where leaders learn. So as we sit here, we are all leaders, but only a few will then assume positions. In terms of the voter participation, the previous record for voter turnout was 3,985 votes, which was 55%. This year we reached 4,333 votes, which was 58.7%. And this is a new record for Rhodes University. And now, colleagues, we have reached Uvutondaba. At this point, colleagues, I'm going to call upon the Chief Polling Officer, Ms. Nwabisa Potoman, to please hand over the results. It is going to be the first time I see them myself. So the surprise is on everyone. I'm going to start with student benefits and sponsorships, colleagues. And I'm going to work my way up to president. For student benefits and sponsorships, 3 candidates contested the position. The votes were as follows: 1,839, 702, second place, and the third place was 397. With the highest number of votes, your student benefits and sponsorships counselor for 2026 is Nsebenzi Swano. Makhanda.
Next up, colleagues, is sports and societies. The fortunate person who's going to be working closely with me. 3 candidates again ran for this role. First position got 1,402. Second position, 1,099. And third position got 644 votes. And your Sports and Societies Councillor is Mokhayechi Moitumelo. Colleagues, the next position, colleagues, can we have your attention, please? The next position, colleagues, is Residence Councillor. It was uncontested. It was uncontested, and therefore, with 2,141 votes, Amahle Nosilela. Project manager, colleagues. Here we had 5 candidates, and it was incredibly tight. Let me start from the bottom. The 5th candidate got 339 votes. At 4th position, 541. Third, 575. Second, 891. First, 899. With a difference of 8 votes, your project manager for 2026 is Shantay Mabini. Now, colleagues, to Postgraduate Affairs Councillor. Here we had 2 candidates. Second position got 1,237 votes. First position, 1,819 votes. And your Postgraduate Affairs Councillor is Vuyani Beta. We are now on opinion councillor. And here, colleagues, only the off-campus students could vote. And I see it's a year of records. They set a new record of voter turnout for this portfolio of 1,545 students voted. And here we had 4 students contesting. 4th position got 281 votes. 3rd position got 296. 2nd position got 319. 1st position got 403. And your opinion councillor, Mpumi Tanda. Colleagues, we're now on media councillor. We had 5 candidates. 5th position got 387, 4th 403, 3rd 716, 2nd 734, 1st 1,214, and that was Sese Tumakyo. Moving on to International Affairs Councillor. Here we had 4 candidates. 4th got 649, 3rd 695, 2nd 930, and 1st position 993. Quite close. And the new International Affairs Councillor is Rovimbo Meyanda. Next is Environmental Affairs Councillor. We had 2 candidates here for this position. Second, 1,682. First position, 1,974. And the Environmental Affairs Councillor is Ovayo Makhanda. Now we are on Community Engagement Councillor. As proof that Rhodes is very passionate about community engagement, we had 5 candidates. At 5th position, 115. 4th, 226. 3rd, 720. 2nd, 928. First position, 1,803. And the Community Engagement Councillor for 2026 is Bahle Maqhele. Activism and Transformation Councillor. We had 3 candidates. Third position, 556. Second position, 1,281. First position, 1,560. And the Activism and Transformation Officer for 2026 is Alungile. Next up, colleagues, Academic Councillor. We had five candidates here. Fifth, 286. Fourth, 609. Third, 613 votes. Second, 949 votes. First, 1,328 votes. And the academic counselor for 2026 is Braden Shaw. Colleagues, we are now moving to the Secretariat. Secretariat is the President, Vice President, Secretary General, and Treasurer General. And we will start with the Treasurer General. We have two candidates here. Second position got 1,240 votes. The first candidate got 1,623 votes. And the Treasurer General for 2026 is Ozuko Shemfu. Now, colleagues, we move to Secretary General. The engine of the SRC. Here we had three candidates. Third position got 550 votes. Second got 881 votes. First got 2,245 votes. And the SG, Unopala, is Vanya Pleknet. We now get into the presidents. Here, colleagues, as you would know that presidency is, you vote, they contest under one. And then number one and number two are taken. Number two becomes vice president. And number one becomes the president. Here we had 7 candidates. This was the largest field in over 15 years. At 7th, 414 votes. 6th, 522. 5th,